Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down greatness, and man, crazy. It's already 24 hours later, and we're here to talk not only NFL Divisional Championships, bets and breakdowns, not only College Football National Championship. That was supposed to be the last one. Well, I butchered it. Welcome back into the JCPod. So, kind of butchered that. What I was going to say is, so basically what we're doing today, NFL news, we're going to go over that first, talk about some of the stuff that's happened since I was last on 24 hours ago, so it won't be too much. There's just a few little news and notes here and there. Then we'll go over, breakdown pretty much the divisional round, what we got there. And this is like the very first break. Like, I'll admit, this is the first time all year that I'm coming on. Haven't looked at numbers too much. I feel pretty confident in what I like already. Like, I have kind of ideas in my head where I think some numbers should be at, so we're going to basically kind of base it off that. And if numbers are close, probably going to take the bet. If numbers are a little bit off, probably not taking the bet, unless it's off in my favor. But we got that going on, and then we're going to hop into the College Football National Championship, talk a little bit of that, and that's pretty much going to be it today. Probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode. Not going to go too crazy today. Just got some small things to talk about, like I said. But small things that matter a lot. So without any further ado, we're going to hop right in, and let's go over some NFL news before we hop into the NFL divisional round. Starting first with some news about the Baltimore Ravens. Zay Flowers, this is from Ian Rappaport. Like I said, so first thing comes from Ian Rappaport, and with Zach Drybeck, I believe that's how you say it. Where Zay Flowers was not on the Ravens practicing. Not on the Ravens practice report because Zay Flowers was the only Raven not practicing, which means Ian came out and said, was told Zay Flowers has an outside chance to play this weekend, not practice Wednesday, does not appear to be a good sign. They play Sunday, so I mean there's still a chance, but yeah, if he's not practicing today, good chance he's probably not playing. We're going to have to check the practice report out tomorrow just to see if anything's changed, and then, yeah, maybe check it Friday, but if he's not starting to practice today, that's going to be something that's really concerning. But that was the first thing I want to bring up because they were just, playoff team. So along with that, Quinn Ewers is officially declared for the NFL draft, which is interesting. He's foregoing his senior season. He'll declare for the 2025 NFL draft. There's a small chance where he might stay in college, but this is my the more I thought about it, it's like, man, they're going to draft a good amount. Like there's usually about 3 or 4 quarterbacks that go in the first round during most NFL drafts. So quarterbacks have to get drafted. If you look at this class, not the best class, not the biggest class, but like looking at Quinn Ewers, I mean, hey, he has a chance to maybe get some real money, go to a decent team pretty high up, and get decent money. Like, is he a first round quarterback? I don't know. I'm assuming he will be, just because. Yeah, he wasn't horrible in college. Like I said, there's some injuries issues. I don't know. Just something very interesting to keep an eye on because I don't know where exactly he'll be drafted at, but he's officially going to the draft. So if I had to guess, definitely first few rounds. I feel like I'm dumb saying like, oh, he's probably not going the first round, but it's just like, man, who else? I just don't know who else. Sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, they have him as the number 7 overall quarterback in the 2025. How old is this, though? This is from January 15th. According to this, they have him as a 7th ranked quarterback. I don't know. I'm not going to act like we know where quarterbacks should be going in the NFL draft anyway. Robert Saleh. He's apparently expected to interview with the Cowboys for their head coaching job. That'd be a pretty interesting hire, I'm not going to lie, because the Cowboys are officially pretty much done with Mike McCarthy. I don't know if did I go over it yesterday, really? Mike McCarthy it was just a weird situation how Jerry Jones basically goes, no, we aren't letting the Bears interview with him. So I took that as, so Mike McCarthy, like, they're very serious about bringing him back, and then, like, 2 days later, they're just like, yeah, we mutually agreed to part ways. It had nothing to do with money. It's like, so it either had a lot to do with money or something's not adding up, Jerry. So Robert Saleh, interesting choice for them. I don't think he'd be a bad coach at all. It's just going to be interesting. Because the Cowboys, I mean, Deion Sanders has been floated out there. It's just truly curious at this point. Who's going to take that job? Because it's not. I thought Troyman brought up a great point saying it's not as coveted as it once was. Because it's really not. I mean, like, the Cowboys, don't get me wrong, Cowboys are okay. But it's not like you look at the Cowboys like I would say we look at the Patriots like, damn, that's a good team. Well, not now. Let me rephrase that. In recent history, you look at Patriots like, oh yeah, that's a dynasty. You look at the Chiefs now, it's like, oh yeah, that's a great dynasty. You look at the Cowboys, been since the 90s. So they truly need to bring a head coach in that can get. Starts with head coach. And they bring in a head coach. I don't think they've had anybody like that's true. I think damn near since Jimmy Johnson. He's been the last one that's truly been like the great Cowboy coach. There hasn't been a great Cowboy coach in recent memory. We need another one back. Trevor Lawrence wants the Jaguars to hire a young offensive coach. Makes sense because he's an offensive guy. And I don't know if that's a shot that... Basically, I don't know if that's him saying, like, hey, I want Ben Johnson without saying I want Ben Johnson or... Yeah, I mean, whoever's going to get this job is obviously Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback, so they're going to have to deal with him. So be on the lookout for a young offensive mind being the head coach of the Jaguars. Moving on. Micah Parsons did come out and say it hurts to lose a great coach like Mike McCarthy, which after... I'm not going to lie. Good that he came out and kind of said this after, especially... I don't know if he... Oh, I forgot about this hat. Damn. Wolfen's just thought not to change his hat. I forgot that it's green, so it's going to mess everything up. But no, it's one of those situations where... This is pretty distracting. Let me fix this. It's one of those situations where that's a lot better. He came out and said all this stuff before in the season, so it's like, I don't know if this is him actually staying face or if he actually, meant all that stuff he said about Mike McCarthy earlier in the season. I don't know. Really, really weird situation. Just wanted to bring that up because that's the Cowboys. We got to do ratings. Anyway, moving on, though. Mahomes expects Kelsey to step up in the playoffs. That's keyword for, hey, I'm probably going to be targeting him a bit more than normal now. And basically, let's be honest, we expect this to happen. And this is basically what we've talked about all season. I think multiple people brought this up where it's like, park Travis Kelsey. It's like, hey, we'll ramp you up here, start about December, January. And it's that time to ramp him up. Now it's Travis Kelsey's season. Like, everyone else should be acclimated. Everyone else should be... And now it's like, I'm assuming a lot of it's going to be like, all right, first read, where's Travis Kelsey? Where's Travis Kelsey at? It's basically been waiting for this moment right now. They've been trying to save him all season, get to this moment right now. City of Cleveland sues the Browns over possible move to the suburbs. Cleveland's fight to keep Browns from moving from downtown and into a proposed dome in the suburbs taking yet another legal turn. We're going to be interested to keep an eye on that because... Apparently, the city has filed a lawsuit to stop the NFL from leaving Cleveland's lakefront when its stadium lease expires after 2028. Team owners Dee and Jimmy Haslam intend to build a $2.4 billion stadium adjacent to entertainment complex in Brooks Park, Ohio, 15 minutes south of the city. If they got that into a dome, it'd be good for the city because then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? You're hosting Super Bowls. If you have a dome, you're able to host a Super Bowl now, especially because of all the weather issues and everything. But past that, I mean, I get kind of not... I don't know. It's a bunch of one. I'm not shocked that they want to move. At the same time, it might be good for the program. That they've just been bad for so long. But I don't know. It's one of those situations where it's a moving team. We'll see if it actually happens. I mean, it's gonna be the Cleveland Browns still. They're just moving from the lakefront to downtown. Could have to see if that actually happens. The biggest change that'll be is the kicking. All of a sudden, you go from kicking in the lake where the winds and swirls and all that becomes wild to kicking in a dome, and it's a little bit easier for them kickers. Shout out to the Colts. They're going to host the first regular season game in Berlin. It hasn't been announced who they're going to play yet, but the Colts are going to be 2 NFL games will be held in London, and 1 will be held in Madrid in 2025. 5 international games took place last year, 3 in London, and 1 in Munich, 1 in Sao Paulo. And yeah, honestly, the NFL is making history in Berlin, and the Colts are proud to be part of this landmark event in one of the world's most historic cities. The NFL has become a global brand, and we're looking forward to growing American football in Germany, expanding the Colts Nation footprint around the world. Gonna be awesome, man. Just hopefully we put on a good show, because, man, Ballard's coming back, baby. Moving on, though, I think that might be it, actually. Lions Montgomery is ready to play in divisional round after his MCL injury, which is awesome. It's crazy that he's actually coming back from that. Nick Sirianni came out and said it's lazy to bash A.J. Brown for reading on the sidelines. He said, I'm definitely okay with it. The crazy thing is he's been reading this book on the sideline for a long time. It just so happened we caught it on camera last week. Who cares? I mean, that's one of the things. Who cares? It's about inner excellence anyway. And isn't this better than... Because if... let's be honest. If he's making a scene on the sideline, everyone's be like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? Come on. If he's not doing that... if he's not making a scene, they're going to make something out of anything, especially because it's Eagles fans. So the fact that he's reading a book on the sideline is probably like one of the most chill things A.J. Brown has done. Continuing on, Steelers, no, that's actually not that big of news. Never mind. There's just Tomlin, basically a quote about Tomlin and their loss. Packers offense took a dive to close the season. That's what LaFleur came out to say, which makes sense. Their offense wasn't nearly as good. And that pretty much catches up to news. We talked about Deontay Johnson yesterday. From what I've heard, this guy just, best way to put it is this guy just sucks. Mika Ryan said unfortunately didn't come out and it didn't work out. Apparently what the biggest issue was, let's see, so the Ravens waived him on December 20th after he refused to enter the game. Houston claimed him because of the issue with their receiving core, and then they end up getting rid of him. Biggest thing I'm hearing, attitude problem, which really, really sucks because it's gotten to the point now where I think they even mentioned this on the Pat McAfee show today. Maybe that's where I remember hearing it from because I heard it. This is just now the most recent one I've heard it from. So the fact I've heard it multiple times now is kind of the same thing. I feel kind of comfortable saying this now, but it's basically come out and been leaked out that Deontay Johnson, as an amazing athlete, has all this potential in the world, all this talent, but sounds like as a person he just kind of sucks. And that's the best way to put it. Apparently he came out, this is just a rumor, I don't know how true this is. Apparently he was coming out and complaining about his amount of targets on his new team in the playoffs. Like, if that's truly the case, which don't get me wrong, remember what we talked about, how number one wide receivers, we love a little bit of drama around here with our number one wide receivers because they really want the ball and they want to be great. This is a bit different, man. You just join the new team and you're always sitting there, it's like, man, we won 32-10, but I didn't get enough balls, man. And he's making issues on the sideline about it. If that's truly what's been happening, then it's like, all right, this guy, yeah, he's just sucks because, yeah, now it's been so many teams in a row now. It's starting to get to the point where it's like, man, he probably has legit one or two more shots, maybe, in the NFL before teams are just like, all right, it's been 7 locker rooms. Nobody wants to keep you for more than a little bit. So it's like, yeah, it might get. Deontay Johnson is cutting it really, really close to potentially, I'm not going to say not having a career, but he's on some dangerous waters doing this stuff, man. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for the NFL news. Like I said, we just kind of went over some stuff. There's some quick stuff to talk about. Not too much at all. Not too much has changed in the past 24 hours. Just some small little tidbits here and there. But we'll leave that one on. So now we're going to move on to, like I said, NFL bets for the divisional round. We got 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Let's get it. First, right off the bat, a little thing I'm interested in potentially doing. So we'll see. I think I wanted to do it Eagles. We'll do actually Ravens. Ravens, Eagles. I was going to do a 4. I can probably make this a 4-teamer. 4-team tees. That's something I'll get out of the way right quick. This is probably something I will take. We can get, it's a 6-point teaser. You get Commanders plus 15.5, Ravens plus 4.5, Eagles minus 0.5, Chiefs minus 2.5, plus 240. Not amazing at all. I'm not going to act like this is the best odds I've seen in the world, but the only one that makes me a bit nervous is Commanders, but that's 15.5. Running quarterbacks give Detroit issues. So I think there's a chance that could happen. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of teasers, but for those teaser people out there, that's the teaser I'm going to be taking this weekend. But before we get into that teasers, now we're looking at games. So you got Chiefs minus 8.5. Can we do what does the Chiefs-Ravens money line look like? Plus 124. Chiefs-Eagles money lines minus 157. Because I'm not going to lie to you, Chiefs minus 8.5 feels just a tad too big. If I was to take this, though, I will give out a side in this game because there's only 4 games left in the season. We're going to write this in red. If I was to bet a side, we're betting Chiefs minus 8.5. And I think I might even pull the trigger on the 8.5. I'll admit, the article, the title of the episode was probably say best bets. This is more of like the best leans. Because I'll finalize this in the article for Stay Down Sports. But there's going to be stuff, like I said, I'll write in red, which is pretty much like, hey, this is a maybe bet. Kind of like the number, not fully sold on it. And if it's in black, lock it up. We're betting it for sure. So there's going to be a few situations like that. Over-under is 41.5. I could truly see this be like a 24, I'm thinking like 24-17 type game. Around there score-wise, where I just don't I don't see the Texans really scoring over 17 in this game. So it's just a matter of, do I trust the Chiefs to basically not score over 24? I don't know. So that over-under is a bit of a can't get myself there just yet. But if I take something so far, it's Chiefs plus 8.5. Touchdown scoring-wise, everyone's plus money. Usually not a good sign. They usually have somebody who's minus. But honestly, we just talked about it earlier. You know who we're taking. Give me Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce at, what is that, plus 165? I like Kelce at plus 165. They said they're going to get him involved more, so we're probably going to be taking a good amount of his stuff because generally, like I said, they've been saving him for this point all season, so we'd be a little bit of a fool to not take his stuff. Sorry, I don't know if that mouse has been on the screen the whole time. I just kind of flicked it and no idea. Didn't realize where it was. But yeah, if we're going to take anybody, Nico Collins there. Sorry. Travis Kelce. I do kind of think Nico Collins is not a bad one either, but man, I think it's Joe Mixon or bust for me for the Texans if I'm going to take anybody. But I'm probably going to stay away, question mark. It's Nico Collins or, for me, it's Nico Collins or Joe Mixon. I really don't want to mess with anybody else touchdown-wise. I just can't get myself there. So we're just going to take Travis Kelce, leave it for there. I'll probably end up taking one of the other guys. To score 2+ touchdowns, Travis Kelce plus 1,400. Not going to lie. Tempting. So we're going to write, it's 1,400. That might be a little sprinkle. Just because, let's see. Yeah, a little 20 for 280, a little 10 for 140. Like, we'll probably do a little baby sprinkle on that. Moving past that, I don't know. Yeah, that's probably going to be it for touchdown. I really don't want to dabble in this touchdown market too much. Because I'll admit, the first round of the playoffs, that was probably my worst betting, was the touchdown markets. Because there'd be like one or two guys that I thought would score where it's like, oh, yeah, probably should have took them, but I didn't give them out. And then there's just some other weird names. Like Derrick Henry, that one was cool. Automatic where he felt good about it. And then there's some other guys that just like, like Will Dissly, probably a horrible one to give out. A.J. Brown. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, none of them score. So it's just like, man. I don't know, especially in this Chiefs-Texans game. You see stuff like that after last week. It's like, I'll probably hold off then. Passing prop-wise, so you got Mahomes over 248, C.J. Stroud over 230. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get there. Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 144. I do like that. C.J. Stroud is plus 205 for him. I am not taking that. I just don't trust... sorry, I was writing down. I just don't fully trust C.J. Stroud, especially in this game. If he ends up being able to beat the Chiefs, it's going to completely flip my mindset. It's like, okay, I don't trust this guy in big games. I just don't. I'm not going to act like he was had to... I don't know. I'm not dissing C.J. Stroud at all. I just am not... I'm not sold. That's the best way to put it. I want to see a little bit more. And then especially when it comes to... I just can't do it, man. I just can't get myself to do it. Every time I try to talk myself into it, I just can't. Mahomes is at over 24.5, over under 24.5 completions, over under 21.5 for C.J. Stroud. Okay. Receiving wise, you got Travis Kelce over 52.5. We're going to take that. We'll also probably take his receptions as long as they aren't horrible. So 52.5 rec yards. And then we'll also take, do we want to take his receptions? Total receptions for Travis Kelce, 5.5. I guess 6 for 60, right? It feels like Travis Kelce should at least get 6 for 60 and over, so we'll go 5.5 receptions. I like both those bets. Those are probably, honestly, betting on Travis Kelce is probably my favorite bet in this game. Because past that, I mean, you got Samaje Perine over 9.5, tempting. Xavier Worthy over 51.5, tempting. DeAndre Hopkins is over 29.5. That one's, I mean, there's just so many tempting numbers. Chiefs passed the ball around way too much. Last game, like, he had 2 for 7, DeAndre Hopkins did. Other than that, he's had over 29 receiving yards in every other game. Except for, let me see, was he in Las Vegas? He was. He had 2 for 29 in Las Vegas. And that was pretty much, yeah, was that his first game with him? I don't know. So, some leans I like. We'll see for sure. I kind of like how DeAndre Hopkins at 29.5, that feels really, really low. But with Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown coming back, DeAndre Hopkins isn't going to be needed in that big of a role. So that's my only fear. Is like Travis Kelce, I see him getting a lot of targets. And you got Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy kind of 1A, 1B right here, right under Travis Kelce. And then I think there's DeAndre Hopkins slopped in that. So that'd make him the third option. And then you get a look at the backs. You got Samaje Perine over 9.5, Kareem Hunt over 6.5, Isaiah Pacheco over 5.5. I won't lie. I don't mind any of those at all. I think honestly, I'm not going to give out all these, but I'm for sure probably going to have a number on all these. All of them are single digits, so I really, really like that. It's just a question of who's actually going to get the targets. That's just the only thing that I can't get my mind around is that, all right, so are we giving it to Samaje? And then Next third down, oh, Pacheco's in. This third down, oh, Kareem's in. But usually Samaje is the third down back. So we're just gonna take a quick peek, and then this will probably be it for this game. Cause yeah, I'm not gonna go too crazy on this game. Kareem Hunt receiving wise, probably not taking him. He hasn't got a lot of receptions. Like 1 for 13, 1 for 4, 2 for 24, none against Pittsburgh, and he hasn't had any since December 20. I guess that hasn't been that long. Isaiah Pacheco, his receiving 1 for -1, 1 for 15, 2 for 6. Samaje Perine. 1 for 13, 2 for 20. We'll take Samaje. Oh, okay, so Samaje is a guarantee. He at least gets, if he gets 2 receptions, we'll feel amazing about it. If he only gets 1, might be a bit sweaty, but like that as well. So we'll be taking Samaje over 9.5 rec yards. Sorry, I couldn't remember. I'm like, is that not 9.5 rush? But yeah, so we'll take him over 9.5. I think I take off my Chief hat now, right? But yeah, we'll take him over 9.5 and leave that there. So officially for this game, I like Chiefs minus 8.5. Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown plus 165. Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Kelce over 52.5 receiving yards and over 5.5 receptions. And then we'll go Samaje Perine over 9.5 receptions. Rushing wise, staying away from it all. Mahomes over 23.5, bit too big. CJ Stroud 14.5, bit too big. Joe Mixon 57.5, just want to stay away. Kareem Hunt's 31.5. Isaiah Pacheco's 41.5. Too many options, so I'm just going to stay away. So that takes us into the Saturday night game. Commanders, 9.5 dogs to the Lions. We're going to do it. Give me Commanders plus 9.5. I think that Detroit wins this game, but I think Detroit wins this game, but I also 9.5 feels really big, especially for the Commanders who haven't played the worst. They've played a lot of really close one. I mean, I guess if it's a one-score game, it is close. But we'll just read some of the Commanders' scores real quick. Also, that way you can actually get an idea of how close some of these games have actually been. Like, for example, you got 23-20, 23-19, 30-24, 36-33, 20-19, 42-19. That's a win. And that's December 1st. That was the last time they didn't have a single-digit game. 34-26, 26-18, 28-27, 27-22, 18-50. And then you got to go all the way to October 20th to get a 40-7 win over the Panthers. They play close games, so I think this is a genuinely chance for them to keep it close. Another thing I will give out right away that I love is, depending on how high this rushing prop is, Jaden Daniels over 54.5 rushing yards. I'm probably going to just add him 50-plus into our Nasty Boy again, maybe. They struggled. The Lions struggle against rushing quarterbacks. Running backs do run the ball. Dipshit. Jesus. Jesus. No, but Jaden Daniels should get a decent rushing line. He had 36 rushing yards last game. The Lions really do struggle against quarterbacks in the rushing game. That's been one of their biggest issues is mobile quarterbacks. So I do lean his rushing over. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning there. I'm not going to take any other rushing yards because you got Dave Montgomery 41.5, Gibbs at 80.5. I lied. We'll take Gibbs. I wonder how much work Monty is going to get back. It's his first game back, so I don't think he'll get like full carries. But Gibbs over 80.5 rushing yards feels like a good number. I don't know. I'm not the most confident in it, but it's not a bad number, so I'm not. I don't know. Can't really defend that one. I'm not going to lie to you. I just like the number. I don't mind it. It's just 80.5 rushing yards is a lot. I just don't know how much work Dave Montgomery's truly going to get. I'm tempted to take his under, but at the same time, I don't know. He's had a lot of time off. They might want to give some rest to your boy, Jaden Daniels. Zach Ertz, man. I'm kind of tempted to take his receiving over. Terry McLaurin, last game, 7 for 89. His receiving over is a 68.5. Just a tad too high. I would prefer it in the lower 60s, high 60s. I'm just going to stay away because he has games like 8 for 62, 5 for 60, 7 for 73, 8 for 73. So he's just like, he's getting right there where it's like, man, that's a little too close for me. Reception-wise, though, Terry McLaurin over 5.5. I mean, you're looking at games of 5, 8, 7, 5, 1, 8, 7. Trend would say he's potentially due to have a game with 5, but I don't know. The reason I'm kind of staying away is I'm thinking about taking, kind of want to take Zach Ertz stuff. He has some really middle numbers as well, but I want to just 2 for 23, 5 for 44, 6 for 72. Zach, instead of taking Terry McLaurin, this is who we'll take. We're going to take Zach Ertz over 29.5 receiving yards. Sorry, I don't know why I keep forgetting when I write stuff down, like, hey, you don't got a friend to talk with you, buddy. No, but I think it's just a low total. I think that he should get about, 4 or 5 receptions, genuinely, so it's just a matter of can he capitalize on those. Over 3.5. Tempting, except he has a few games with 3, 2, 1. I mean, it's just... Some of these numbers, man, there's a reason I'm not taking too many props either. Some of these numbers are, just perfectly where it's just enough to hold me off, but kind of close to where I want to take it. But we got to be super, super disciplined at this point in the season, especially with... It's playoff, man, so I don't need to bet on every single game. Diami Brown has over 2.5 receiving yards. As is over under that. He had 5 for 89 against Tampa Bay, 3 for 16, 4 for 56. Oh, I'm stupid as shit. That's receptions. He has over 33.5 receiving yards. That makes a bit more sense. Tempting, but we're going to take his receptions because he's hit over 3 receptions and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games. So, Diami Brown over 2.5 receptions for the Commanders. And then we'll start looking at some Lions props because that's all I really want to take over Rick. Alright, and I need to start writing a little bit better. This is going to be hard to read. Jesus, Jaden. Sorry about that. We're going to hopefully fix some of those pauses. But yeah, we're probably going to stick for there. Lions-wise, Sam Laporte over 4.5. Jameson Williams, 3.5. These are all receptions. Amon-Ra over 6.5. What's Jameson Williams looking like? The only thing that scares me is he's a big boomer bust guy, but they've really been involving him a lot more, and he's truly been a great weapon for them. Tim Patrick, what are we looking at for you two? Tim Patrick, over 1.5 receptions. Yeah. I think we're going to take that. So, yeah, I like that. We're going to take Tim Patrick over 1.5 receptions. I believe that's plus 114. Or it's plus 150. One of those two. I can't remember. Rec. And then the last one I want to take is Jameson Williams, potential over. We're just going to check what he's been the last few games because I can't remember off the top of my head. So we got 34, 77, 143, 37. And his receiving yards are at 56. I think I'm good. Players longest reception, Jameson Williams over 24.5. No, we're good. All right, we'll leave it there for that game. So we got Commies plus 9.5, Jahmyr Gibbs over 80.5 rushing yards, Zach Ertz over 29.5 receiving yards, Diami Brown over 2.5 receptions, and Tim Patrick over 1.5 receptions. Reminder for those of you who are probably, if you're skipping any points of this episode and you're a little bit later into it, we are going to, these are the best leans / best bets. I am going to have an article on Stare Down Sports that I plan to get out. I'll try to do most of it tomorrow. If not, I'll probably get most of it done tomorrow and then have that one, the Saturday out tomorrow, and then we'll try to get the Sunday one out either Saturday or whatever. Because I'll admit, for those of you who don't know, having surgery this weekend on my hernia in my groin, so article-wise, it's going to be a little bit weird on than a normal schedule. Next game, so we got Rams-Eagles. Eagles minus 6.5. We're going to write this one in red. I just feel like the Eagles. I mean, this is probably going to be one that I end up taking. This is a red bet that's really going to most likely end up being a bet. I just don't know, man. I'm kind of torn, but at the same time, it's like, oh no, I think the Rams should be able to not hang around too much. Just the Eagles, man. They play so weird. They have these games where Jalen Hurts doesn't play the best. Or he has 130 passing yards, but they win by 15. I don't know. A lot of weird vibes, so 6.5 makes me a bit nervous, but at the same time, I think they should have no issue covering it. Passing prop wise, you got Jalen Hurts over 204. Matt Stafford over 225. Passing touchdown wise, you got over 1.5 for each guy. I'm actually going to take that. Am I? We'll take just Matt Stafford, actually, because I'm going to take Jalen Hurts to rush for a touchdown. So we'll take over 1.5 pass TDs. I lean Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I just can't get myself there fully yet, especially because we're going to be taking him for some rushing stuff. Receiving-wise, we're just going to stay away because Jalen Hurts throws for 150 yards a game, so I truly don't know. Man, Cooper Kupp, what's been going on with him, dude? He's been quiet. I just haven't been using him as much lately. I don't know if that's just a game plan thing or if it's just hey, we don't need you as much right now. Let's focus on Puka Nacua and some of these other guys. But, man, I think the only person I'm tempted to take is Demarcus Robinson. There's just too much variance. I mean, with these, there's probably going to be variance with Demarcus Robinson too, let's be honest. But these receiving props, there's a little too much variance with who's getting the main focus. So I like trying to find some of these guys who, are third options. But I mean, so like, look, 1 for 123, 3 for 72, and then before that, hasn't got a reception between December 8th and December 28th for a 20-day stretch. He didn't catch a single ball. Then had 3 for 72, 1 for 23. I think this, you can't even bet on. So DeMarcus Robinson over 1.5 receptions is minus 140. That's probably going to be the play for me. I just feel like we have a better chance of 1.5 rec over, and this is 4. Oh my gosh, I got to move all this. I don't have room to do this for Robinson. I just, like I said, I just don't like, some of these numbers are a bit too high. They don't truly love a lot of these props, so not the biggest prop league. And like I said, I'll have some more in the article. I just, first look through. I didn't get a chance to look through it this week. It's been, honestly, a very, very chaotic week for you, boy. Getting ready for surgery and everything, so trying to do, this was just the one thing I admit I missed, was being able to look at these lines. Jalen Hurts over 39.5 rushing yards. Saquon Barkley over 11.5. Kenneth Gainwell over 9.5. We'll probably take Kenneth Gainwell's. We're probably going to take a break from Jalen Hurts for 1 week just for the fact that we lost by the hook last week. I mean, we lost Jalen Hurts rushing over by him taking that one single knee at the end of the game, so that really sucked. I'm not going to lie. The boy a little bit hurt by that, so we might stay away for a little bit. Kenneth Gainwell, 3 for 14, 11 for 4. 9 is just so low. You can get that in like 1 or 2 rushes, it feels like. So we're going to go Gainwell over 9.5. It just feels a little low, and they give Saquon 1 or 2 breathers, just bringing Gainwell, and he's a different type of back a little bit, so he might be able to get, maybe find a little extra hole or 2, and then can bounce off for a big run and help us there. Puka Nacua over 2.5 is tempting, but I think they offered that last week, and I think it was basically just like I don't think it hit. Oh, he had 1 rush for 7 yards. Oh. Damn it, they're going to get me, because I wanted to take it last week, didn't give it out because I didn't know if he'd rush. So we'll take Puka over 2.5 rushing yards. Not my favorite bet, but I don't mind it. So for this game, we got Eagles minus 6.5, Matt Stafford over 1.5 passing touchdowns, DeMarcus Robinson over 1.5 receptions, Gainwell over 9.5 rushing yards, and Puka Nacua over 2.5 rushing yards. Mind you, the Puka Nacua one, not the biggest fan of, but he got 1 rush for 7 yards last game, and I wanted to give it out last game just because it's like 2.5 yards, and they do like an end around and do some funky stuff with him. You can maybe even get a throw behind the line of scrimmage that's far enough back to where you can. There's a lot where we can like maybe game that a little bit and be okay. So 2.5 feels pretty low, so we'll be okay with there. Final game, Ravens Bills. I'll admit, it's hard not to take the Bills as a home dog. It's really hard not to, but this one, I gotta go Ravens, man. Give me the Ravens on the money line, minus 118. I love Josh Allen. Honestly, love the Bills. I have visions of Derrick Henry running wild potentially on these boys like he used to in years past. So they're gonna have to really stop Derrick Henry if they want to get anything done. But it's battle of the MVPs, man. This is gonna be a great game regardless. This is one of those games where, like, I'm betting Ravens, but I would not be shocked if the Bills win this game, truly. I think the Bills truly have a great shot at winning this game. I mean, they are the home team. With how good Lamar looked last game and how well they played, it's hard not to take them. I didn't take any touchdowns for the Eagles, I just realized. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and are the guys I like. And then for the Rams, we're going to take Matt Stafford, and that's probably it. Or, sorry, not Matt Stafford, Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams, and then if I had to pick somebody else, one of the tight ends. I'm assuming if Higbee plays, I like Higbee. If he's injured, I like Colby Parkinson. I just can't remember. Their tight end situation's getting weird, but their tight ends got a lot of targets last game, so that'd be where my lean is. But yeah, like I said, we're talking Ravens, Bills. Rashad Bateman, man, plus 165. Assuming Zay Flowers doesn't play, that's tempting, but for sure we're going Derrick Henry. So these are all touchdown scores I like. We'll go Derrick Henry, who's plus 230. We're going to do the Josh Allen, James Cook thing again. James Cook scored for us. Josh Allen did not last week. I like both those guys. I also like, if I had to pick a fourth guy, It's between Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. Can't really decide. Every week I want to bet Rashad Bateman. I don't bet him. He scores. It's been like 3 weeks in a row. Got him on at least in 2 of the 3. One was again last week. Missed him last week. A little hurt by that, but tempted to say that there. But we'll just stick with Derrick Henry for now. And then James Allen, Josh Allen, James Cook. Let me rephrase that. Like those guys to score as well. If I was going to pick anybody to score twice, Derrick Henry plus 260 isn't too bad. James Cook plus 700. Don't mind that at all. Passing prop-wise, we're going to go, I think, both these quarterbacks over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I don't want to do their passing overs 235, 225. I'm not going to lie to you, not the biggest fan of betting passing overs just because I've had a bad history of them. So, we're going to just stay away from that a little bit, and we're going to go passing touchdowns. Sorry, I was like, where's that at? Pass TD over 1.5, both QBs. For Josh Allen, it's minus 120. For Lamar, it's minus 108. Don't mind that at all because I'm going to bet both QBs for a rushing touchdown. Bet them both. So basically, that'll be the hedge. Betting them for the rushing touchdown for the hedge, and then the over passing touchdown is kind of our actual bet. But I also don't mind both quarterbacks to score rushing touchdowns. I think this game could be like a 30-30 type game potential. This has 30-30 type potential on it. Receiving prop-wise, you got Khalil Shakir over 50.5. Mark Andrews over 37.5. Keon Coleman. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually going to stay away from a lot of these receiving props. I just don't like how much these two teams spread out the ball. Which is not a bad thing for football, horrible thing for betting because 1 week Rashad Bateman got 2 receptions last week. They won by 14. And he was their number 1 wide receiver. I mean, last game against Pitt, just receiver-wise, just to give you some numbers. Ravens, 3 for 53, 2 for 27, 1 for 25, 2 for 24, 1 for 21, 4 for 13. Too much variance. I don't mess with that. And then you look at the Bills. Bills are a very similar situation where they like to spread the ball out a lot. So I don't like taking a lot of their guys for the receiving props, just for that main reason. Sorry, I was trying to find the last game. So I could kind of read that off to you and guys and do the similar thing. Because, you look at their receiving props. They beat the Broncos bad. 31-7. Curtis Samuel, 3 for 68 and a touchdown. Shakir, 6 for 61. Kincaid, 3 for 47. Knox, 2 for 38. Sorry, 2 for 38. A little bit better. Actually, I will lie. We'll take a prop. I like one. We'll go Khalil Shakir. We'll go over 50.5 receiving yards. I think he's basically their number 1. So I do like Khalil Shakir a lot. He seems like the one reliable guy on their offense receiving wise that gets a good average amount of targets. I wanted to look up Derrick Henry and James Cook. James Cook receiving wise, let's see. He hasn't got anything in 3 games. We're good. Nope, not even gonna worry about that. And then we'll look at Derrick Henry real quick, and then that's probably where I might end it here. We'll look at the rush, but I don't know. Derrick Henry, no receptions this game. He has 2 for. He's had it 3 games in a row. He's 2 for 27, 2 for 18, 2 for 23. I'll admit, him for over 6.5 receiving yards, that feels a bit low. That's another one of those situations where you just run a halfback screen to him or dump it off to him, let him get some momentum upfield. I like Henry over 6.5 receiving yards. I just think that bit too low. If this was like 8, 9, 10, I guess if it doesn't matter too much if it's 8, but more of like the 9, 10, 11. If it started getting to that range, it's like, all right, no good. But if it's at 6.5, that's just like especially with how much he falls forward, that feels like a 3-yard gain, fall forward for an extra 2 to 3 yards. We are golden. And then, so that basically takes me to, I think I just want to talk about the last part, which is the rushing props. Derrick Henry over 96.5, James Cook 55.5, Lamar Jackson 52.5. Justice Hill over 8.5 might be the one I take. I'm not going to touch either of these quarterbacks. I don't mind the rushing overs. To see a quarterback with a 40-something yard rushing over is insane. Like Josh Allen's 8 for 46, 5 for 17, 6 for 30 last few games. He was 8 for 46 last game, though. And his under's at 45.5. Nerve-wracking as hell. And then you got Lamar Jackson, who, his rushing yards, I actually might take. He's 15 for 81, 9 for 63, 4 for 87. I actually will take Lamar's because I do think he's going to run a little bit more. Over 52.5 rush yards. Okay, so that's going to round out all my bets, and then I'll read out all my bets, and then we'll quickly look at some game specials if they have them up for the divisional round. I'm not going to take any actual game specials inside the games themselves, but We'll see if they have any for division round. But for that game, Ravens minus 18.5. Sorry, Ravens minus 118. Holy Jesus, minus 18.5. What are the odds on that thing? Ravens on the money line. Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, James Cook, anytime touchdowns. Both quarterbacks, that being Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Khalil Shakir over 50.5 receiving yards. Derrick Henry over 6.5 receiving yards. And Lamar Jackson over 52.5 rushing yards. So my official plays, plus whatever we find for the article this weekend. We got Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. Travis Kelce 2+ touchdowns. Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce over 52.5 receiving yards and over 5.5 receptions. Samaje Perine over 9.5 receiving yards. The Commanders plus 9.5. Jahmyr Gibbs over 80.5 rushing yards. Zach Ertz over 29.5 receiving yards. De'Ami Brown over 2.5 receptions. Tim Patrick over 1.5 receptions. Eagles minus 6.5. Matt Stafford over 1.5 passing touchdowns. 1.5 receptions over for Demarcus Robinson. Gainwell over 9.5 rushing yards. Puka Nacua over 2.5 rushing yards. Ravens on the money line. Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, James Cook anytime touchdown. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Khalil Shakir over 50.5 receiving yards. Henry, that being Derrick, over 6.5 receiving yards. Lamar Jackson over 52.5 rushing yards. I see the Chiefs winning, most likely covering. At least winning. I see the Lions winning, maybe probably not covering. I see the Eagles winning, potentially covering, and then the Bills Ram. I'll be honest. That's the game I am torn on the most, where I'm like, man, I truly could see that going either way. Looking at some of these weekly specials real quick. Just some. Each team score 1+ field goal plus 330. Tempting, but tempting. Sorry, I got a text. I was reading that. Tempting there. Each team score 1+ passing touchdown plus 250. 1+ point, no. Each team score 1+ passing touchdown in all 4 divisional games plus 250. 2+, nothing there. Each team score. Did I already read that? Is this just the same thing? They have the same thing listed. Okay, here's a different one. I was about to say they had the same thing listed like twice. That was really weird. Oh, they just had some other. That's what they have. Okay, that makes sense. So I'll read this. So Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen combined for 6+ passing and rushing touchdowns. I don't mind that at all. That's plus 260, which odds were a bit better. James Cook and Derrick Henry record 5+ rushing yards each quarter, plus 370. Tempting. Any player to score 75+ yard receiving touchdowns, plus 500. Amon-Ra and Terry McLaurin each have 30+ receiving yards each half. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combined for 200+ rushing yards and 2+ rushing touchdowns. Don't mind that at all. Any QB to throw 5+ passing touchdowns. Feels like that's a bit much. Nico Collins, Travis Kelce to combine for 225+ receiving. Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud to combine for 6+ passing. Travis Kelce to record 10+ receiving yards each quarter. I'm going to bet that personally. I do not recommend taking that out. This is going to be a personal bet for me. Any non-QB to record a passing touchdown plus 1,700. Don't mind that at all. And I'll have to write all this down. And then we got a 65+ yard field goal. And Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, James Cook to combine for 5+ rushing plus 2,100. Any offensive lineman score touchdown plus 3,200. Derek Stingley, no. No touchdown will be scored in 1+ game plus 3,500. I don't know what these teams. The only team I could see maybe not scoring is the Texans or the Rams, but it feels like those two would score, right? Any QB score receiving touchdown plus 6,000. And the Los Angeles Rams score 9+ sacks versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Please don't bet that. But I will say the 3 specials I am actually really intrigued in is, the 2, I guess. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combined for 200+ rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, plus 700. Derrick Henry and James Cook each record 5+ rushing yards each quarter, plus 370. And then Travis Kelce, 10+ receiving yards each quarter, plus 1,100. Don't recommend it, but your boy's probably going to end up on it. Yeah, that's going to round it out for NFL, man. And that officially brings us to the started with 12. We're counting down to officially 1. And that's how you crown a CFP national champion. Shout out ESPN for a banger commercial. This line's moved a little bit. Opened up at 9.5 for Ohio State. They were favored. It's now officially dropped to plus 8.5 for Notre Dame. Notre Dame plus 290 on the money line. I'm pretty sure I got them at plus 350. Over under 46.5. If you think Notre Dame's going to win, you probably like the under. If you think Ohio State's going to win, you probably like the over a little bit because you probably see them scoring 30. They basically, so my guess is, 30-17 would be, 30-17 if Ohio State wins, 31-17, something like that. I can see that being a potential score, 31-14, maybe even. But personally, for me, biased. It's hard to take my bias aside. I think Notre Dame has a chance to cover in this game. 9.5 just feels like a lot of points for national championship. But we dealt with this last few years ago with TCU, if you remember. This feels a little bit different though than TCU, Georgia. But man, they already have. I'm not gonna lie to you. They already have win totals out for Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, North Carolina, Michigan, Georgia, Colorado. I mean, this is crazy. They already have some win totals out. And the 2026 National Championship. They put Ohio State 2026. Notre Dame 2026. Just to let you know, hey, it's not for this year, guys. But no, overall, I think non-bias, like taking bias away, I probably do think Ohio State wins this game. If they're able to play like they've been playing, I don't know how you beat them. But the way they played against Texas, they showed some humanity in them where it's like, hey, maybe, just maybe, Notre Dame might be able to get them. But, man, Jeremiah Love sounds like he's going to be as good as he can to go, which is huge for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's just going to have to stop Ohio State. If they can shut down the pass game and kind of force them to beat them more in the run game, that's where the key to success. Don't let Will Howard throw all over the yard and keep the run game. Keep them mainly on the run game. And that's how Michigan beat them. Look at Michigan if you want to beat them. The best way to beat them. And then, like I said, for Ohio State, the biggest thing, if they stop down Notre Dame's run, it might get ugly quick for Notre Dame. They have to be able to pound that rock, milk that clock. And then Riley Leonard's going to need to make plays when they need to be made, which he's a gamer, man. I expect him to do that. This is going to be an amazing game. Should be a really, really, really fun game. Two very, decorated fan bases, very decorated teams. Like I said, I probably think Ohio State wins this, but as a Notre Dame fan, hard not to take them on the money line. And I love the 9.5. If anything, I will admit, tempting. What if we did I probably have to write. Actually, I probably should write this down real quick, just so I don't lose some of these. Sorry, I gotta run on the wrong page. I'm tempted. What if we do like a Chiefs? What if we throw Notre Dame in a teaser? We don't need to waste your time with that. I might throw Notre Dame in a teaser, get that 8 to like 14.5. I do think they keep this within a score. Like even if they lose, I do think they keep this within 10. But if they get the run game completely shut down, it's going to scare me a bit. And like I said, their Knapp, we talked about a little bit yesterday, the Notre Dame tackle, he's not going to be playing. But one of those weird situations where the starter at the beginning of the year missed the whole season, Knapp played for him. Now Knapp's out. We get the OG starter back in, and Knapp, who was a freshman, played really well. Weird situation there. So you're like, yeah. Wait a minute. So, like I said, though, 120, national championship. We are going Notre Dame plus 9.5. Okay. Not gonna lie to you. I really gotta go. So we gotta burn through this real quick. I'm not gonna lie. This is horrible time, but I have to get something done. I basically have an hour and a half to get it done. So, okay. Not gonna lie to you. For sure, check out the Stare Down Sports article. I will have all these plays done by Sunday night. If not, we'll have it out by Monday morning for the national championship. I'm really sorry about this. This is like super important for my surgery and everything. I have to go get some work done and everything. So, some early leans. I love Riley Leonard for a touchdown, but I'm not going to take that. We like Notre Dame plus 9.5, like we said. We'll be taking Notre Dame on the money line myself personally. For me, it's Riley Leonard, TD. Jeremiah Love, TD or bust. I'm not taking anybody else. It's not that I don't trust anybody else in Notre Dame. Those are just the two guys I trust the most in the red zone if they get to that point. So those are two things I like. We are not going to take any passing props, I don't think, for 178 for Riley Leonard, 245 for Will Howard. Riley Leonard over. We're going to take this again. Riley Leonard over a half passing touchdown is minus 172. I do like that. I think he gets. I mean, this is a similar situation where they get in the red zone. It's only one. So if anything, we'll do like Riley Leonard over a half passing touchdown parlay that with something else and just minus 172. Very similar situation last week, so I like that. Will Howard over 1.5 minus 148. Probably going to stay away from that. And then receiving wise, we'll check out the Stare Down Sports article. I'll get that to you. And then rushing wise, Jeremiah Love over 40.5. I like that one, and that's basically where I'm going to be leaving it there. So. Right, for this game, Notre Dame plus 9.5, Riley Leonard touchdown, Jeremiah Love touchdown, Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson. I don't mind either one of those two. I just don't know who I want to choose. Maybe even both scores. Then I like Riley Leonard over half passing touchdown. Jeremiah Love over 40.5 rushing yards. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the report. Really do appreciate it. Much love as always. Like I said, please check out Stare Down Sports for a lot of this stuff at the end, especially the College Football National Championship. If you really want the bets, please. I got rushed and I really have to get this stuff done. Like I said, I'm really sorry about that. Did not expect this to happen today, so that's what I'm going to be doing basically as soon as I get off, and then this will be published. But like I said, please check out Stare Down Sports if you want to get more written information of this. These are all the bets I love that I will be, everything I said to you today, I will for sure be placing. There might just be an extra bet or two that gets added along with that. Please check out Captain by a Hook tomorrow. I'll be pairing with my boy to give out some more bets. And until then, I will see everyone pretty much, I think, back in this feed on Tuesday. I might pop on Monday because, like I said, since I'm having surgery, I basically have like 4 to 5 weeks free. So I might pop on Monday and just potentially instead of Tuesday. We'll see. But if not, Monday, you'll see me back on this feed on Tuesday. If not, I might see some people tomorrow. Catch you then.